So I recently visited Cuba with a brigade of young people from North America, and we visited all kinds of places. We went to schools, cultural sites, villages, even an auto body shop. And I could say a lot about all these things, but if I could only say one thing about what we saw, this is what I would say. The most overwhelming feeling I had while I was there was that I knew in the back of my head that my own government didn't want me to be there. Unlike basically every other country in the world, for the longest time it was actually completely illegal for US citizens to visit Cuba, and even today it's heavily restricted. And on top of all this, all my life I was told the most over-the-top things about Cuba. That it was this total dictatorship, that there was no freedom in Cuba, that everyone there is starving. And then when you go to Cuba, you realize that all these things just aren't true. There is food in Cuba, obviously. You know, there's not police standing on every corner. In fact, I would say that there's a much larger police presence here in New York City than there is in Havana, but that's a separate story. Cuba is still underdeveloped in a lot of ways, but people there also have things that we don't have here in the far richer US, like free healthcare and free college. And this kind of begs the question, why was I told my whole life that Cuba was this horrible place? Why was I lied to and told that there was no food in Cuba? Why lie and say that it's this total police state? What did Cuba do to get this slanderous treatment from the United States? Because it's not like Cuba's really done anything to us. It's not like Cuba carpet bombed our country. They never occupied our cities with their military. They never tried to overthrow our government or anything like that. So why was it that everything I heard about Cuba since I grew up was 100% negative? And to me, the answer lies in history. You know, up until the Socialist Revolution, Cuba was basically a neo-colony of the United States, meaning that while Cuba's leaders were from Cuba, they were loyal to the interests of American investors, not the Cuban people. So at the time, Cuba was basically this playground for these foreign investors. And you know, they would buy out the Cuban sugar industry, or they would buy out the mining industry. And they would get rich off of Cuba's resources, and then they would vacation there. And they would have Cubans drive them around and bring them drinks and dance for them. In other words, everyone was enjoying and plundering Cuba's wealth except for the Cuban people. And this is exactly the type of society that Fidel Castro and his rebel army fought to overthrow, and they did. And when they did, they recreated Cuban society on a socialist basis. So they said the needs of Cubans should come first, and the needs of these foreign investors should come last. And actually, the first thing Fidel did when he came into power was he took these vast swaths of land that these foreign investors owned, and he gave it to people with no land. You know, they took over people's mansions, and they gave them to people with no homes. And this was Cuba's original sin. They ended the foreign looting of its country and its people. Immediately after they did this, the US imposed a blockade on Cuba, which prevented it from trading with the outside world. And this policy, which is still in place, by the way, is designed to crush the Cuban economy. You can just read documents that say that explicitly, and it would do this by causing shortages of goods and thereby undermining support for the Cuban Revolution. So why do this? Why strangle a country's economy and knowingly cause suffering? And I think the answer is, if people knew the truth about Cuba, if people knew that they took a society that was dominated by the rich and turned it into a society that served the poor, if they knew that Cuba seized all the profits hoarded by the rich and redistributed to the people who actually worked, people might look at their own reality here in the United States, where 140 million people are in or near poverty, and then look at these rich parasites living high off of our sweat and our labor, and think to themselves, well, why can't we do the same thing here? So the United States has to sabotage and lie about the Cuban Revolution, because if people were to see socialism succeeding in Cuba, people would want socialism here.